Arius would soon be, quote unquote, the one, instead to introduce me to a whole flock of complex folk of whom as well made me rethink stereotypes I myself already withheld with what attention channeled through which being and the baggage that came with. I'll get to discussing them shortly. Some of them, less than you might conclude heretofore, were the ones who'd be proud to jam a dagger in front of a civilian's face and think of it like a cough. With every recurrence, Arius showed me worse and worse images. As honestly as a health class that would claim it's not trying to scare you. Adding water to the sea, she added her own kind of mental image, burned balm, and revealed the last time before my journey, her own, not reflected as before, true form, which came not as surprise to me of ever so pointed ears, and smoky mouth, grey ashen skin with black splotches like vampire demon acne. This was, without her own verbal addressing, where the war dreams were to end and next phase of continuance to begin. Message received tenfold, and I was about to truly see what she meant by it all, by her lack of power to continue these or own choice that I had got the point. It was time to test my difference in sharing an interaction, negotiating on a long, arduous journey that eventually had to do with the power of one amongst their society. I knew there had to be more reason to her dedicated visit, and stopping these battles by no simple task, by her abruptly sullen expressions despite no emotion when showing me what I virtually saw and she had projected around us. I could easily see, could tell, it wasn't just because of the point she brought across. She wanted more out of me that she wouldn't reveal yet. Like some twist that this was all something to prevent. She began to speak in her innocent, entreating, mature, fading voice as she herself flaked and faded here. The vampire demon race is a cruel kind around the other types of demons and humans of pure intent. In the place I come from, that I feel destined to escort you. They are colliding and brewing friction over which race claims what divided land already, and it leaves the ones inborn without a proper place. One entity must claim conquering power of outwit over land as history has dictated elsewhere. Yeah, and look at what cost. There are several minorities with like I that with complicated bloodlines that became more innocent with each following generation, but some inhabit dark plans as I inhabit this ability, and Tick and Tock inhabit theirs, as Yurikasha inhabits his, as Kalamek or hers, and nobody has the guts, will, nor time to stand up to Aziz Kexen, especially not his half-brother. What are you having me on about? What does any of this have to do with me? I'd ask and plead and beg and desperately as a Dickens orphan who craved indigestion. She'd say something to this effect and spout off different bizarre names, but would end with, "It's up to you." She'd say nothing further and start to fade and flicker like a possessed light bulb or a signal increasingly out of range. The original dreams had always ended the same, no matter how desperate I became or really cared about something again, the less she acted like she heard. However, how badly I wanted clarification, let alone closure. For the following week or so, I slept pitch black to top off melodrama, no less. So I didn't see her until she appeared abruptly with no sketch vision to accompany her therapist hour, but with an anxious look on her face, as if of her own impulsive instinct, to consult me. Her expression as worrying as the babbling brook of time. You need to come with me now. What? Why? Answer me. You are our only way out. What are you talking about? Please, I exasperated. My dream dimension from which I hail has a lot more trouble than about to escalate to beyond the points I showed you again and again. We will all teach you hands-on if you just follow. I want no part. I got my own problems. You currently don't understand, and you possess as little choice as we. She muttered unfortunately and firmly grabbed my hand. Let me go, you balmy girl, I yelled and tried to break free from her grip. As much as I hesitated, I never thought she had the superhuman strength to hold on so tight, let alone pull me so effortlessly into the light from which she arrived simultaneously. Her small fire body didn't seem capable of it. While she did feel her let go with a level of thrust after thrust, in the middle of a blind light and hadn't lost her, or rather I shut my eyes not just to keep my sight, but to try to drown out so I'll be back in my own bed. Everest was making me unintentionally apprehensive about how exactly safe whichever place was. Being honest that I was no safer than the rest of them was sufficient over a stretched fib. Naturally, I had no clue where I was because I wanted nothing to do with it as much as she did, and knew I'd changed my mind by accident or design. Something she wouldn't be specific about would. This was a time when my pre-apocalyptic blissful occurrence could take place and be spared personalities lurking behind names I couldn't pronounce, and free my own mind with worry-free notions of how I'd be more of a hero than a hero sandwich. Even though the scenery changed, rather it became scenery that I could smell rich hints of soil permeating. Eris's yellow hair closed in gray skin and human X figure and complex remained. I'll admit it before I got to know her personality. She seemed a little insane to want me to drop everything and join her at first, but what are ailments really little anymore when intensity touches insane? I trusted her at that time that at home, in my bed, wouldn't be just a major factor. With conscience growing, she knew what went on, how alas, whereas I, of course, knew as little names and could guess any one of them to label whom I saw in visions at that moment. I was as lucky. This was half a reason for me to become slowly as aware and shift focus to what she properly recommended. The said dimension turned out to be an enormous wide deserted field, smelling as real as the air in my own room after a fashion. The sun is setting on the mountains. Vampire demons crave the night, though they can handle daylight from being half so. Makes sense, I guess. I'm sure it's their time to leave well enough alone and mind their business without a coffin, right? They don't all crave with blood at the same time? No. Yes, but they're not exactly the same as spirits or the other various types of demons, so primitively phrased so, who just want to honestly live their lives without interjection. But they're labeled. Kexen isn't the only problem, so much as those who deemed him a general. Not only do vampire demons crave blood, as you can guess, they're combined genes as anybody. Are you one? She hesitated. And shook her head. No, even if I were, I would embellish. Even against my better nature. Demons just crave different things before heart's desire implicant. I am but a wandering skin changer. Any of us were born a certain amount overbalancing the other, so I'm more human than they, in spite of unanimous ashen gray skin. If you wish to meet a few like me about already, there's Atticus nearby. He was the first of the kinds I met, although nobody's really sure who the first vampire human was. Sure, I'm pretty much open to whoever to get to know what is beyond culture or whatever. I'm here to break boundaries. I mustn't make a fuss. I'm too amazed. The only choice I have is to have friendly others I meet as building guides. It would best make for the demon military campfire I'm currently stopped at, and ask as many questions as you please. You have your answers you can digest. Civilization is indeed scattered about, so how could it not be here? Of all places, especially. So we must follow the dusk. Always leads me in the right direction, she advised. The sun was setting beyond the horizon of trees as golden hands of shadows caressed and cuddled the subsequent hills, and remaining pervasive sunlight still kissed an eye here and there among the trunks. Atticus should be on this somewhere on this trail in his hut. He could tell you more. The vampire demon race have uprisen only under Kex's command and have captured half humans and other demons considered inferior from not being able to handle the night for one reason. And torturing or sacrificing them to set an example of quote-unquote balancing. A decreased population, so they claim that they have more of a likelihood of being what they claim is the most proficient, really without evidence. But I count that alone as a flaw. Full-blooded humans are planning retaliation, but they're no match without you around to set it straight. Your dialect isn't all that's different. I, awestruck, simply replied, I know you had to be real. I hope their weapons are simulated. With a simple touch of my hand to her shoulder. You're the one I sense we could trust the most out of your life priorities matching up for the one of the most human you are to see. Not only to set an exemplary example for generations to come, but to show anyone who can summon balance through enough dedicated teamwork. Kexen and Atticus seem to think that there's more to it than that, and they twist it. Come, I smell rain shortly before post-dusk. Atticus was terribly shy of me and soft-spoken and didn't say much. He was tall, lanky, wore a green jersey of some type. So these demons didn't really dress like I thought they would. But then I wasn't really sure how they dress. Robes. He looked younger than I in the light and looked older than I in the dark. Had an American accent, dark hair and pointy ears and gray skin as well. He still has some good, honorable, quiet, firm self-esteem from being claimed to be uptight about the stresses of the ongoing conflicts led by his half-brother.